From 2026, we're set to see a new entry in the sport, and that is set to be done by Audi. The German manufacturer has announced his entrance into the sport, and although Porsche hasn't been able to agree to a common ground with Red Bull, things are looking great for Audi. After the rules for 2026 have been officially adopted, it became evident that Audi will enter the sport as one of Volkswagen's most formidable branches. However, there are very big concerns about whether the team will suit the sport and if the team will do some damage to the rest of the competition. Want to find out more? Stick around with us until the end of this video. Volkswagen has been looking to make an entrance in the sport for a long time now, and that has been allowed after the rules for the 2026 season have been agreed upon. Now that there will be much more electrification and 100% sustainable fuel introduced to the sport, rest assured that Volkswagen's requirements have been satisfied, and they've allowed two of its most formidable branches to negotiate a deal in order to secure a spot in F1. Audi and Porsche have been granted the green light from Volkswagen, and although that seems like a good thing for the sport, many experts believe that Audi's entrance will destroy the sport. Nevertheless, the team has announced that they are looking to make a buyout on an already existing team, and some of the teams that are available for a buyout are Sauber, which is now under a commercial partnership with Alfa Romeo, Williams, Aston Martin and McLaren. However, it seems like Audi will be the exclusive engine supplier to Sauber, a deal that is supposed to take place in 2026. It became evident that Audi does really mean business when it comes to entering the sport, and that has been proven by the recent statements. Once they finalized the deal to join F1, Audi came with an official announcement saying the project will be based on Audi Sports facility in Nürburgring near Ingolstadt. This is the first time in more than a decade that a Formula 1 powertrain will be built in Germany, finished Audi, hinting that BMW's 2009 producing of F1 engines in Germany was the last one. What's weird about this? Well, Mercedes is a team that is also coming from Germany, but they are producing their powertrains in the UK, more precisely in Brackley. According to Toto Wolff, Audi will add much more value to the sport compared to Andretti, who was also rumored to join F1 but are very unlikely to do so. As Wolff said, Andretti is a great name, but this is sport. And this is business, and we need to understand what it is that you can provide the sport. On the other hand, Andretti talked about F1 prioritizing the European teams more than the USA ones, amid the investments that were made from the USA, and amid all the increasing of popularity in the sport, it's very unlikely that Andretti will be granted an access to F1. As he said, "I'm getting the feeling it's still the European club, the way we're being treated, because we would be a threat. The first real international team." As we said earlier in this video, Audi's most likable options are to agree to a buyout to one of Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin or Williams. According to Alfa Romeo's boss, he said that the team doesn't feel any pressure, and he added, "I'm not totally blind. Really, it's no stress. When you are a brand like Alfa Romeo, we have existed for 112 years. The world is open for us. 2021 was profitable for Alfa Romeo for the first time in years." However, Alfa Romeo has announced their withdrawal from the partnership with Sauber, which only leads us to believe that there is something happening in the background that we're not aware of. It's very likely that Audi have agreed to a buyout contract with Sauber, and the initial reports were saying that Audi is claiming to complete a buyout of more than 70% of the company, putting a stump on the market and literally putting the money where their mouth is. According to Joe Saward, who is a British journalist, it's only a matter of time before Audi will announce its partnership with Sauber, which is estimated to be worth more than $700 million. But what's even more interesting is the fact that everybody was hoping for an 11th team entrance, and with Porsche's plans being available to the public as the team wanted to agree to buyout terms with Red Bull, everybody hoped that Audi would be the 11th team. Nevertheless, this is very unlikely to happen, as it seems like Audi will complete the total buyout of Sauber in 3 stages that are set to take 3 years, and by 2026 they'll have complete control of the team. This is said to be done because Audi doesn't want to have any relevance to Alfa Romeo, who is currently under a partnership with Sauber, but the engines are provided by Ferrari. But what's the difference between Audi and Porsche? Both of these branches were related at the beginning with a common project, but separated quickly when it became clear that Volkswagen will enter the sport through these branches. Porsche has worked on a deal with Red Bull, and although it was a hard thing to do and it was kind of impossible to agree upon certain terms, Porsche isn't giving up on the F1 dream. Still, it's a shame that we didn't see the Red Bull and Porsche contract going through, as according to many, it would have been a match made in heaven. According to Christian Horner, there was too big of a difference between the two sides, as he labeled the whole situation as a different DNA. Porsche is a great brand, but the DNA is quite different. During the discussion process, it became clear that there was a strategic non-alignment. Red Bull has demonstrated what it's capable of in F1, and obviously as an independent team and now engine manufacturer, we look forward to competing against the OEMs with the powertrain as well as the chassis, added Horner. The team is the biggest marketing asset globally for Red Bull. Why would we compromise this strategically for the long term? For 2026, we're fully committed. We've recruited some of the best talents in Formula 1 within Red Bull powertrains. We've created a factory within 55 weeks with fully commissioned dynos. We've built our first prototype engine for 2026 and run that prior to the summer break. We're on a really exciting trajectory that isn't dependent on outside involvement or investment if there's strategically the right partner, finished Horner. The breaking of the deal was also announced from Porsche's side as they put out a public statement in which they said the two companies have now jointly come to the conclusion that these talks will no longer be continued. The premise was always that a partnership would be based on an equal footing, which would include not only an engine partnership but also the team. This could not be achieved. With the finalized rule changes, the racing series nevertheless remained an attractive environment for Porsche, which will continue to be monitored. The statement from Porsche said, "One could totally understand where Red Bull does come from. The team has high hope for the future, and it's very unlikely that their form will be ruined anytime soon. They've invested in their own powertrain units, and although they are still helped and supported by Honda, the Japanese manufacturer is looking to make a full step back from the sport in 2026 since they aren't finding their own ideology anymore." Nevertheless, talks about Honda's possible comeback from 2026 and beyond have resurfaced even when the Porsche-Red Bull deal was set to be announced at the Austrian GP. Now that the deal between Red Bull and Porsche has fallen through, Honda's chances of returning back to the sport are bigger than ever, and it's very likely that the Japanese manufacturer will also conquer to be the 11th team if they do find the resources and the willpower to invest in this project. With that being said, it's very likely that we'll see Audi and Sauber's partnership, and it's still very unknown what will happen to Porsche in the future. What do you think will happen next with these German brands when it comes to their entrance into the sport? Let us know in the comments below.